willpower and smoking. What is this invisible force that I just can't seem to overcome, that I can't seem to just drive myself through? Why can't I just follow through and just quit? Here's what you need to know about your willpower and quitting smoking. Make sure you stay to the end of the video, because I'm going to tell you exactly how I dealt with my willpower to quit smoking for the rest of my life. That's right, I was a pack-a-day smoker just like you, and I had to battle all the same demons. I had to fight the same war, and I did come out the other side, and I have now been smoke-free for over 20 years. And I'm going to tell you what I did, how I got to the other side. And I can tell you, just like you, it wasn't easy. It was extremely difficult, and I banged my head against the willpower wall over and over and over again. And man, was it frustrating. If this is your first time to this channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification button, especially if you're interested in tips, tricks, and hacks on how to quit smoking for the rest of your life. That's all we talk about on this channel. Also, I want you to put in the comment section all your thoughts about and your struggles with your own personal willpower. We respond to all comments. I'm also going to put a link in the description to a free 15-minute phone consultation with me. It's fun. It's purely conversational. I'm just going to get you on the right track to quitting smoking for the rest of your life. So let me tell you about my own personal story, my own personal journey. When I tried to quit smoking, just like you, I started with willpower, which is really just another way of saying cold turkey, right? Cold turkey is just using your willpower to quit smoking. And for me, it was like banging my head against a wall. I can remember I'd get up in the morning, I would say, today's the day I'm going to quit. I'm never having a single drag, draw, or puff of a cigarette again for the rest of my life. And I was so positive and I was so determined. And guess what would happen? 3 o'clock would hit. And the constant thoughts or cravings, it was often different. But what would happen every time? I'd fail, I'd give in. And it was inevitable, and it was constant and chronic. And I would do it over and over and over again. I might wait a month and then attempt again. And it was just like this invisible force that would get me every time. Willpower, I would say to myself, why can't I just do it? It was so frustrating, and I couldn't understand. It drove me crazy. So what is this invisible force that we seem to not be able to get past? Well, you know what? It actually is your willpower. It's exactly what it is. So let's have a little look at what willpower is. So willpower is basically control that we exert to do something, or more importantly, to restrain an impulse. It's also the ability to delay gratification. These are all things in neuroscience that we call willpower. I like to really describe it as it's more the capacity to override an unwanted feeling or thought or impulse. And we know that it's a function of our conscious mind. It's not a function of our unconscious mind. And if you've seen my video on how your mind works, you'll know that what your conscious mind does, your unconscious mind can't do. You have no willpower in your unconscious mind. It's your conscious mind that has your willpower. And what do we mean by that? We mean your thinking thing. The internal dialogue you hear, it's just you saying to yourself, I'm not going to smoke. That's what willpower is. It's your conscious mind. It's your internal dialogue. It's your voice saying, I'm not going to do something. That's all it is. It is nothing more than that. It is simply that. We also know from neuroscience that our conscious mind can only do 5 to 7 things at one time. Your unconscious mind, we know, can do trillions. It's a supercomputer. Your unconscious mind is so powerful that even with all of our knowledge of quantum mechanics and physics today, we cannot build a computer to rival your unconscious mind. So it's a supercomputer. Your conscious mind, it can do 5 to 7 things, and then it craps out. So you have a WIMP for a conscious mind, and you have a supercomputer for an unconscious mind. Guess who wins when you try to use willpower to quit smoking or to do anything? Go on a diet. Why do you think so many people fail at diets? Because when you use your willpower, you have to engage it constantly because it's a function of our conscious mind. Here's what it really is. It's the number one excuse in the world for why we fail at almost everything. It's our conscious effort to regulate ourselves by ourselves. we're trying to regulate ourselves with the weakest part of our mind. So here's the thing about willpower. It's not unlimited. It's not limitless. It's very limited. We only have a certain amount of it. And we actually deplete it as the day goes on. And we'll talk about that when I give you the 3 tips, tricks that you can use to try and hack it. Okay, so here's what you need to know. Your willpower is just your conscious mind. It's just your thinking thing. And it is the single worst way to quit smoking. You're going to see on the screen in front of you now the top 8 ways to quit smoking. From stacking down through hypnotherapy, through drugs, through the behavioral therapy, the nicotine replacement therapies, the books, the apps, and cold turkey. That's using your will. It is the least effective way to quit. It is so ineffective that I can give you a sugar pill. You'll see placebo there in red. I can give you a sugar pill, and I can tell you this is a magic pill that's going to get you to quit smoking. That what that does is that engages belief, which is a function of your unconscious mind. It tells your unconscious mind that you just took a magic pill. It's not even as effective as a magic pill or me lying to you. That's how ineffective cold turkey or willpower actually is. So let's talk, if this is the truth, but you're determined to do it anyways, let's talk about how can you hack it. Here you go. 3 hacks to hack your unconscious mind. And then I'll tell you what I did. The first hack is, if it is a resource that depletes, make important decisions in the morning. So if you know you always smoke when you go for a beer with your buds or you go have a martini with your girlfriends, decide not to do that for the next month. Anything that you do that causes you to smoke, just decide earlier in the day, because that way you don't have to decide when you have no willpower, right? Think about diets, right? If you do not plan your dinner in the morning and you get home and you're hungry and it's 6 o'clock, you no longer have any willpower. And guess what you do? You just order pizza. Why? Because you've depleted your willpower. So tip number 1, make decisions about not smoking earlier in the day. Tip number 2, if it's really just about the habit, if it's smoking and being stuck, is really about all the associations we have. Every time we drive, we smoke. Every time I have a coffee, I smoke. You have to start to change your habits. So you need to alter something about your current habits. So if you're always drinking when you have a coffee, stop having coffee. Or if that's not practical, don't have it in the same place. Have your coffee somewhere else. Change something about it. Don't have sugar in it anymore. Just change or alter something about the habit and start to develop new ones that don't have anything to do with smoking. If you smoke every time you drive to work, you still got to drive to work, right? Well, drive a different way. So it takes you another 5-10 minutes. So that's tip number 2. Build good habits that don't involve smoking, and you can do that by altering something about your current habits around smoking. That's tip number 2. And tip number 3 is, if it's a limited resource, we need to conserve. So this is the tip of conservation. Eliminate unnecessary commitments in your life for the next month. So look ahead of the next month. You're going to try and quit smoking cold turkey and use your willpower. Get rid of all unnecessary commitments, because we're yes machines. And the more we say yes to people, we actually start to deplete our willpower, right? So those are the 3 things you can do. Make important decisions earlier in the day because our willpower depletes. Look at how your habits around smoking and change or alter them in some important or meaningful way. And 3, eliminate unnecessary commitments that will also deplete your willpower. So those are 3 tips, tricks, and hacks you can use. How did I do it? How did I personally quit smoking? How did I hack my own willpower to quit? I didn't. I had to bang my head against the wall so many times until I realized I needed outside help. The young man that I was, that kept beating his head against the wall trying to use my willpower, I had to beat it against that wall so many times till I realized this just isn't working. I'm defeated. I had to learn that I needed outside help. And that's what I did. I started to learn about habit. I started to educate myself. Started to learn about the neuroscience behind smoking and why we're stuck. I had to educate myself. And then I looked and sought out an outside program to help me quit. Why? Because here's what I found out. 93% of people that quit for good do so with the aid of a program. Only 7% of people quit without the aid of a program. So if you're in that 7% of people, congratulations, blessings to you, that's wonderful, that's great. But if you're like the tens of millions of us that are in the 93%, that's okay. It's okay to start to investigate programs and get outside help. There's nothing wrong with it. The best advice I can give you is if you're going to try to do it on your own, then try those hacks I gave you. But the other best piece of advice I can give you is, if you're just banging your head against the wall, it's okay to seek outside help. Maybe it's time to do what most successful quit smokers do and do an outside program. It's the best, easiest, and most successful way to actually quit smoking for the rest of your life. Don't be afraid to admit it. It just might be time for help. That's the best advice I can give you. If this video was helpful and you want tips and tricks and hacks on how to quit smoking, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button. Also, you can join my Facebook page. I give away tons of free tips, tricks, and hacks there as well, or my Instagram account. Also, take advantage of the link I put in the description and sign yourself up into my calendar for that free 15-minute phone consultation. I will get you on the right track to quit smoking for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Blessings to everyone.